Welcome one and all to Story Zone Sunday. Today's tale will be taking place on LHP-0. The tale is called Beneath the Grid. It takes place in a dead zone hidden within an industrial manufacturing plant. The family we're going to be looking at today is called Gamma. The Gamma Foundation, who created most of the greatest inventions this world has ever seen, including the iron heart cores beneath the very mega seas. People work and live and never experience a blackout, for if it is ever disrupted, the heart immediately injects fluids and starts pumping all of its energy throughout the city. They last millions of years and have no expiry date. They have created healthcare and helped evolve fruits and veg to become a lot more enduring over the seasons. This has helped the industry boom and things keep growing and moving constantly. However, for all the good they have done, unfortunately, to every family's good intent, there is always a darker project. The tale beneath the grid is just that. Within this zone that is set, unfortunately, this one company decided to play God. The Grid Foundation, before the VP project and the moons were sent out for all the inventors to live upon, had one more thing they wanted to prove to themselves and maybe release to the public. And can be controlled and can forever last and endure any storms, blizzards, snow, heat, even radiation. And why don't we try and reanimate somebody and turn them into something more, something that can protect when asked, as well as destroy when needed? The Foundation toiled away in this industrial zone that has been far long forgotten, with the staff count being 28 of this blacklisted building. Everyone was on board. They found a subject that was known to be in the ruins on the outskirts of the huge megastructures. He had a reputation that only the people on the ruins would remember. Now little more than a corpse, and no legend to his name, let alone a heartbeat or a glimmer of a dream. He is said to be strong enough to have endured anything, so why not use him? As the experiments began, new inventions getting made for all the wrong reasons, a gamma core in the most indestructible suit of metal you can ever imagine. Made of obsidiarath, nothing can get through it. Branded in the company's colours, yellow and green. Everything was going swimmingly. It moved. They took tester shots. They threw everything that was on market and even off market and not allowed at this being that they had created, but is yet inactive in the brain department, is a shell and not been woken up for many reasons, as this was the most experimental stage. They then added a compound that turned the subject's body to fluid and reanimates itself. However, it ate too much of the subject's body. The only thing that survived was its head. So they encased it in living glass filled with this compound, and it worked. The figure of his face changed. It became a little more brutish and no longer had hair. It had dark recesses for eyes. As soon as they connected the dome to the rest of the body and activated the head unit, automatically engaged. It followed everything they said. Everyone was jumping of joy with the possibility of taking it up to the VP project and having this be their security. And they could maybe make more. For every Void Pearl project being made for one of the founding families off-world, they could all be protected with a machine that doesn't eat, doesn't require, doesn't ask, and doesn't bleed. However, to their horrors, the brainwaves started showing up on screen and started thinking that is not what they wanted. They wanted to implement security protocols first. However, they never managed to get to this stage. The unit screamed in pain as he turned. His head was in the dome. The scientist started sweating, looking around, wondering, why is it screaming? It doesn't feel pain. That vat that it said is stored in has painkillers and everything else to make sure the process went fine. They heard a name leave Progenitor Z's mouth. None of them recognized it. They barely heard it. The security were on edge, and they sent down a few more members to the viewing room behind a large pane of glass with rifles at the ready. However, before anyone could do anything, the unit treaded forward, looking at this pale pane of glass, and shattered it. They set the red alarm to shut down the compound. However, it was all in vain. The brainwaves were off the charts. People were screaming, "It has memories. It's fighting back. We need to leave. We've got to seal him in here." No use. All the bullets flew off. Everyone trying to jump on it was immediately obliterated with a large ray of green. The whole room whited out. There was nothing left. Not even a lab coat. The only thing left of the bodies was a plasma type of goo, with one of them crawling off as his face started to melt and bubble before he become one with the puddle and the bones jellified. The communications reached the 3 remaining family members of the Grid Corporation, putting in a plan for them and not letting them know. They were the only ones that were spared this fate of the Gamma Foundation. The unit is still active and rampages through the rest. However, as it destroys every part of the tech that once created it, as well as the people that reanimated him, the only thing strong enough to seal him away was the upper layers of the Foundation, which trapped him in the basement level. As everything sealed shut, all of their secrets and horrors of this unit kept there like a time capsule, drifted into the distant memories. The public never heard of this. They were never told about the huge loss at the Gamma Corporation. Only the 3 who remain, the eldest daughter and the youngest set of twin boys, who now reside on the Void Pearl project. When the time was right, the eldest daughter of the Gamma Foundation was told the horrific news and got given the blueprints, as well as the footage that the lab sent out back to them. They never had an interest in weapons again. They only developed things to help resources, cities, and the environment. No one ever has to fear the dark anymore. Well, apart from that overarching shadow that haunts the last 3 remaining members of the Gamma Foundation. The one nightmare they never hope breaks its coffin made of cement. Thank you for listening. That is the end of this tale.